Hello, everybody. All right, I'm doing the usual thing where I'm like, am I live? Am I not live? Who the hell knows? All right, let's find out. Let's find out if I am live. I am. Oh, huzzah. We love to see it. Oh, there's an ad playing. Groove Girl's here. Hello. Hi. So good to see you again. Groove Girl and I had the pleasure of getting to actually meet each other on Zoom, which was awesome. Okay, I'm going to close that because the chat's coming up on StreamYard just fine. So I hope you're doing good. Hello, everybody. We are talking about how to get shit done with ADHD today with a focus on my Get Shit Done program. This is a paid program that I offer. And boy, did I info dump. I love the info dumps. Give me all the info dumps. I'm all about it. So we're going to talk about productivity, getting shit done, how to motivate yourself even when you feel deeply unmotivated, and how to have ADHD without feeling bad about it all the time, basically. So it's some emotional tools, some practical tools, which is really what we do in the Get Shit Done program. It's a really nice mix of like learning to love and accept yourself, but also like love and acceptance doesn't wash the dishes. So like we need real tools as well. So a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. If you have any questions about productivity and whatnot, please put them in the chat. I thrive off of people's questions. I'm not actually that great at public speaking, believe it or not. Like I'm not bad at it, but I'm not like a pro. I think people think I am because I'm good at responding to comments. I like responding to comments. So give me all the feedback. So I think the first thing I want to address when it comes to getting shit done with ADHD is that you have got to accept that you're going to get shit done differently. Like, period, full stop, right? If you expect yourself to do everything the neurotypical way on a neurotypical timeline with neurotypical results, even though you're not neurotypical, to me, that's insanity. That makes no sense, right? You can't will yourself into being neurotypical. Believe me, I have tried. I had this discussion with my husband like probably a month or two ago. I was pretty depressed and I was like, "Oh, husband, I think I'm depressed." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like that really sucks." And I was like, "I wish I wasn't depressed." And he's like, "Well, I do too, but you are though. So like let's deal with what we have in front of us." And I'm like, "Okay. I wish it would just go away though." And I think sometimes that's how we treat our ADHD as well. Like, I wonder if I could just pretend that this isn't here and it'll just go away. Like, sort of like a little kid hiding, behind the curtains, but you can see their feet at the bottom. And so it's like, you're right there. That's kind of what it feels like to me. And I did this for a long time with my ADHD too. I was like, surely this is nothing. Surely this will go away. And I think our society really promotes this in the sense that like, we talk about ADHD as if it's a thing that only kids experience, especially little boys. And like, if you're a girl or a grown person or gender non-conforming or whatever, like it couldn't possibly affect you that much. And that's just like not the case. ADHD is a developmental disability. It affects every aspect of your life, or at least it can. And the really frustrating thing about ADHD, Jessica McCabe, the creator of the How to ADHD channel, which is amazing, by the way, please go check her out if you haven't already. She had a tweet a while back, or maybe it was a post on Blue Sky, I don't know, but a post somewhere about how people were saying like, but sometimes I can do the thing. Sometimes I don't need accommodations. Sometimes I can do it. So surely that means I don't have ADHD. And her response was like, babes, dudes, guys, like that's the disability. The inconsistency is the disability. Like the never knowing what you're going to have capacity for, never knowing when you're going to be able to do something or not be able to do something is the disability. And I was like, mind blown. I was like, what do you mean? And she's so right, because ADHD is not about always being one way or always being another. That's not how ADHD usually presents. Like ADHD often presents with deep inconsistency, which is why as an entrepreneur, it drives me crazy when all these other like business coaches are like, be consistent, be consistent. I'm also a business coach. So if you want to do business coaching, I'll drop my business coaching website in the chat, but I will never tell you to be consistent because I have ADHD and I know that that's like never going to fucking happen. And that's okay. It is possible to be successful without it. So, business coaching website. There we go. So I'll drop that for you. Having mixed type ADHD and being autistic is a complete nightmare. It really is, Alexandra. I also have combined type ADHD and it's really, really, really hard. Because sometimes I'm inattentive, sometimes I'm hyperactive, but I'm always striving for routine and consistency. That's what the autism wants. And the ADHD is like, no. And so it's really hard. Yeah, not here. Oh, of course. Yeah. I did something similar yesterday, that magical thinking of, I feel good right now. I will be able to do this on my own from now on, but realizing that hasn't worked so far. So take a moment and figure out what is the new thing to try to do it differently. Yes, Grooverl. Yes, yes, yes. We really have to fight our black and white thinking. This is where being ADHD gets really complicated because like with ADHD, we're very inconsistent. With autism, we are very black and white. So when those two things combine, what can happen is it's like, oh, I'm happy now. I've always been happy. I'll always be happy. Or vice versa. I'm sad now. I've always been sad and I'll always be sad. And it really is very difficult to regulate your emotions when you're ADHD. And I think this is why so many of us get misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder. Not that bipolar is not a real diagnosis. It absolutely is. And it's totally right for so many people. It's just not right for everyone. And so I think this is part of why we get misdiagnosed that way so often with borderline or BPD or bipolar, because our emotions are very unstable. Not to mention most, like, did you guys see that post? It's been around for a long time, but it's like the world doesn't produce not traumatized autistic people. So we've started incorporating our trauma into the diagnostic requirements for autism and how that's like super unfair. Yeah, that's a whole thing too. Let's see. Yes, the inconsistency is bah. Yes, Alexandra. Yes, I got misdiagnosed with borderline too. Yeah, I thought I had borderline for a long time. Nobody would diagnose me with it because it is such a stigmatized disorder. And people were like, you don't want that diagnosis. And I was like, I do, but only if it's accurate. And it was a whole thing. I'm starting to realize I might not have borderline. I might have some like trauma related stuff, which could be borderline, but like I don't quite fit there, just like I didn't quite fit the bipolar. So I'm not going to try to fit a puzzle piece somewhere it doesn't belong. I'm just going to pay attention to the traits and symptoms I'm noticing and see if they fit elsewhere. We'll see. If you want more on that, you can follow my Bright but Very Sensitive private podcast. Let me grab the link for that for you. Bright but Very Sensitive private podcast. This is not something you can search and find on like Spotify. You can only get it through this link because it is a private podcast. I wanted a space where I could be myself and just like chat mental health stuff without like all of the social media nonsense. I only want people to listen to this if they opt in and say, yes, I want to listen to this. I don't want anyone stumbling across it. Like I just, it's not the vibe. So I was diagnosed BPD, but think it's wrong. Yeah. And it might be wrong. It might be right. Like I obviously can't tell you, but it's worth considering that emotional dysregulation is part of ADHD. And like emotional dysregulation doesn't automatically mean that you're bipolar or borderline. There are so many other experiences with emotional dysregulation. So consistently inconsistent. Yes, Groove Girl. You are right. So where even was I? See, I love comments, so please keep them coming. Let's see. Hi all, saving for the Get Shit Done program. Lexi, okay. Did you know I'm offering 25% off? Would that make a difference for you? For everybody here, I'm offering 25% off if you can show me that you have donated to a family in Gaza. So let me go ahead and grab the Get Shit Done link. All you have to do is go to Get Shit Done program link. There we go. And then all you have to do is go to the Funds for Gaza Instagram account. They have a whole spreadsheet of families in need in Gaza. Donate here. Pick one. You can donate any amount, whatever works for you, and just screenshot the receipt saying that you donated and email me at Megan@the Neurocuriosityclub.com. And email me your receipt and I will give you the 25% off code, no questions asked, right? Because I want this program to be as accessible as humanly possible. I want as many people to join us as possible until we hit like 30, and then I'm going to cut it off because that seems like it's getting a little unruly. Alexandra, yes, there's a program. It's called the Get Shit Done program. It is amazing. It just got a major glow up. It's this 6-month program where I teach you how to transform the way you do daily living as an ADHDer, as an autistic person, as a neurodivergent person at large, right? We have a Discord server where everybody can hang out. Actually, people are already chatting in the Discord server like a lot, which is really lovely. And then it's a 6-month long program. We have 2 meetings every week. The first is group coaching, where you can come ask your questions like, hey, I really struggled with this week. Do you have any tips for me? And I will give you everything I've learned over the last like 10 years of trying to figure this shit out, right? And I got distracted. Hold on. That does make a difference. Lexi, I would love to have you in there. You've been on these lives for like a while now, and I would love to have you in the program if you can swing it. And if the 25% isn't enough, you can always email me. We can see if we can work out something, but hopefully the 25 pushes you over the line and you're able to join us. Same with Groove Girl. I know you had some interest in potentially joining. We'd love to see you. The 25% off is a really good option if you can donate to a family in Gaza. Let's see. So, okay, the first meeting of the week is on Mondays and it's group coaching. The second meeting is on Wednesdays and that's our skills calls. This is where I teach you all the stuff I've learned. This is where I'm like, here are my cleaning tips, my organization tips, my cooking tips, my interpersonal tips. Like, we're going to talk about all of it. And in addition to just learning from me, we're also going to have implementation weeks. So some of the skills calls are actually going to be implementation calls where we're all just going to get together on Zoom and I'm going to say, hey, you know that thing I taught you last week? We're doing it today. Like, all of us are just going to do it in our own spaces together, like body doubling. Because I think so many ADHDers, we love to learn about things that could help us, but we struggle to actually do it for the first time, especially when you're ADHD, because the autism is like, oh no, I can't do the thing. Oh no, which is fair. Like, I get it, but sometimes that's how my autism sounds to me. Sometimes it's just like, stress. And it's like, would you chill for like 2 seconds? And that's my ADHD, is like, everything's going to be fine. Like, stop. And it's like, you're not thinking hard enough. You're overthinking. Like, they fight. Oh, Alina's here. Hi, Alina. Talking to my parents today, so I'll hopefully know if I can work it out. Groove Girl, that would be awesome. We would love to have you. So yeah, I think the implementation calls are really important because I think it gives us a chance to actually do it for the first time with support. That way, if you start doing something and you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm confused, you can just, put it in the chat, come off mute, be like, wait, something's wrong. I'm confused. And like, literally, this happened the other day. My husband was telling my 5-year-old to pick up his playroom. Totally fine. He's totally capable of doing that. But there's a specific spot in his playroom. He has like an art desk because he's very artistic. And sorry, I was giggling about the similarities between autistic and artistic, and it was just funny. But anyway, moving on. Not that funny, just my brain making connections. So he's very artistic. He loves his art desk, but his art desk is like unusable right now because there's so much art stuff on it. And so my husband was like, you need to clear off your art desk. And so he started clearing it off. And then my son got to a point where he's like, what do I do with all this stuff though? And he asked me, and I look at his art desk and I immediately got overwhelmed. I was like, I don't know, kid. Like, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're supposed to do with all this stuff. And so we had to go get dad and be like, what do we do? And it is really nice to have a support person in that way that you can go ask when your ADHD is just like, no, we can't. So yeah, Alexandra, my autism, that's what my AU brain is doing. You want me to do what now? And my ADHD is like, nah. Yeah, same connection made here. Teehee. Yeah. So Let's see. So we have the coaching calls, we have the implementation calls and skills calls. There's a Discord server. You also get access to my ADHD and autism discovery binders for free. Those are usually 25 each or 40 together. But you can get those totally for free as part of this program. And then you can also I have a whole course about executive dysfunction, about the 8 executive functions, how they can go wrong and how you can cope. It's a really valuable course, and you just like get it in addition to the Get Shit Done program. The Get Shit Done program costs $697, which is a straight up steal for how much of my time you are receiving. Like, just to be completely honest with you, because I usually charge $200 an hour for individual coaching. It's a little cheaper if you do like a 12-week package, which is what I recommend people do. But I'm full up on one-on-one spots, so you can't work with me that way right now. But I usually charge $200 an hour. This program comes with 2 calls per week for 6 months. That is 52 calls. If you multiply that by $200, let's see, 52 times 200, that's over $10,000. And obviously I'm not going to charge $10,000. It's a group program. So like, but even if I were to divide that 10K by 30 people, this program should still, like, it comes out to about $697. It comes out to $500. So that makes a lot of sense. The pricing is, I hope, fair. I hope it feels fair to you. It feels fair to me. I feel fairly compensated when people join at $697. I hope you feel like that is reasonable for how much support you're getting. You also get all the replays of all the calls. So if you're like, oh, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back. You get replays. Where was I going with that? Oh, if you're like, okay, 2 calls a week is great, but I know I don't have that much time every single week to devote to this, that's totally fair. You can always listen to the replays while you're like driving or doing dishes or something like that. So you always give such great advice and tips. I know the course will be amazing. Thank you, Lexi. I think so too. Do you guys want to see? I can share my screen and show you the Get Shit Done, like the curriculum, or are you guys already looking at that page? You might already be looking at it. So month 1 is where are you at and where are you going? And this is about like goal setting, figuring out what the problems even are and what kind of solutions you're looking for and making a plan for how to implement them. Month 2 is self-love, or at least self-like, which is where you're just realizing how much your neurodivergence has impacted your sense of self, self-acceptance. We'll learn tools for self-love. Month 3 is called Fuck the System, because I think any productivity program that does not acknowledge the fact that we live in a hyper late capitalistic bullshit society is not doing you any favors. We need to acknowledge that the system is fucked, right? And that you are allowed and able to live a good life despite it. And we're going to figure out how. Month 4 is externalizing your motivation. Internal motivation is great, but it's not superior to external motivation. You know, you can get stuff done your own way. Month 5 is about how to relax. Put a 1 in the chat if you have ADHD or suspect you have ADHD and you have never been able to relax a day in your life. Put a 1 in the chat. I'm super curious because maybe it's just me. But I can't relax to save my life. It's a nightmare town trying to relax. It's so hard. So we're going to talk about it. I do have some tools. It has gotten better, but I will say this is probably the area where I personally am still struggling the most. These other areas I've come a really long way. This one is still hard for me, but I still believe I have something to teach you, something of value to say. Then month 6 is making changes that last and coping with ones that don't, because let's face it. I see some 1s in the chat coming in. Sorry, we're on a bit of a delay, but yeah. Okay. So it's not just me. That's kind of good to know, even though I'm sorry, it's also you. So we want to cope with changes that don't stick, because that's just the reality of ADHD, right? The constant inconsistency. But we also want to see where we can make changes that do stick. Let's see. This program sounds magnificent. I'm really going to try and join. The discount will help, I think, although I have to convert that to euros mentally first. Yeah. Alexandra, feel free to email me. I'm going to drop my email in the chat again. Megan at the Neurocuriosityclub.com. If you have any troubles or anything, if you just want to chat about it, feel free to email me. That's totally fine. Everything I've ever gotten from you between products and workshops have been so valuable. Thank you, Alina. I try. I really try. My brain is like, oh, self-love. Runs away. Okay. We need to focus on the self-love. Let me tell you why that part is in here. Because it is a productivity program. Like, it doesn't have to be in there. But I think that self-loathing takes a lot of energy. It's an energy intense activity, right? And I think the more we can practice self-love, self-compassion, that stuff takes energy at first, because you're like, it's like the energy required to steer a boat. Like, you have to like turn it. It takes a little while for the boat to actually turn. It'll take more energy at first to switch your thinking, but then not having that constant narrative of self-loathing running in your brain over and over and over and over is actually going to save you so much energy, so that you'll actually have energy and focus for being productive in general. And also, it's just good to love yourself. It's just a good thing to love yourself. So I'm literally crying right now, because yes, it does take so much energy. Alexandra, I understand. I was all through college and through grad school, I was so utterly consumed by health anxiety and self-loathing combined that it took up probably 80% of my brain. There's a great book about this. Hold on. I'm going to go grab it from my bookshelf. Stay where you are. Okay. So this book, It's All Absolutely Fine. Life is Complicated, So I've Drawn It Instead, by Ruby Elliott. Excellent book. But I really love the way she describes her eating disorder. Now, I have not dealt with an eating disorder, very thankfully. But the way she describes it is like, here is what your brain can think about. This little box, right? Here is what your brain should be thinking about, opinions, family, friends, hopes, dreams. We need eggs, buy some eggs, just like stuff. But when her eating disorder was at its worst, her brain looked like this. The entire middle is taken up by ideas of food and size and what she looked like, calories, stuff like that. And everything else, hopes, dreams, opinions, eggs, all of it is like pushed to the corners and barely has any space. That's what my brain was like for like a decade. And it was hell. It was literally hell. That's what I imagine hell to be like. If I die and go to hell, it'll just be, not that there weren't good things that happened in those times. There were so many good things that happened in those times. But my brain, that's what my brain felt like, even when the good stuff was happening. And it sucked. It literally sucked. So my job as a coach, yes, I want to help you be more productive, but I want to help give you more space for all the good stuff and a little less space for all the self-loathing, right? Such a good visualization. I know, right? I love Ruby ETC. She is the best. Let's see. Hello, Colin Robinson, Energy Vampire. I don't understand, Groove Girl. I'm sorry. How do we deal with the intrusiveness of other people we're seeking help from? Ooh, Nancy, can you say more? Say more about that. I would love to answer that question, but I don't know that I understand it fully. So go ahead and ask again in a different way or give me more info. Lexi says, I struggle with confidence because of so many years of being told how wrong I am about even what emotion is appropriate, but healing is a process. Yeah. Confidence is weird. I'm a Leo rising, so I'm like pretty confident, but I also like deeply hate myself. So that's really fun. Like, it's really weird. It's really strange. Like, I have a ton of surface level confidence, but if you like dip below or like crack that confident exterior, it's self-loathing all the way down, my friends, but it is something that like you said, Lexi, healing's a process. I've done so much good work on this. Like I say that I hate myself, but I really don't as much anymore. Like hardly at all compared to how much I used to, like it's crazy actually. And I think I'm just so used to saying that I hate myself, but I don't think that's true anymore, which is really bananas for me. um Oh, What We Do in the Shadows. Okay, I know of that, but I haven't seen it. So, Sag and Sag rising with Aquarius moon. It's chaos. Yeah, I'm a Gemini sun, a Libra moon, and a Leo rising with a Scorpio stellium. So, oh, and I was born under 6 retrogrades. So, if you know anything about astrology, I'm just a backwards, chaotic mess of intensity. So, Rose says, will the program have advice for planning / creating afternoon routines with a toddler and a routine for after his bedtime? Yes, Rose. Yes, yes, yes. Because holy cow, those toddler years are like so intense and so weird because it's like you're so on when they're awake. And then the minute they're asleep, you're like, you don't know how to turn off. So yes, we can totally talk about that for sure. We can definitely talk about routines. Isn't performing confidence a form of masking as well? It can be for sure. I think masking is about intentionally hiding who you are. My confidence on the outside is not, sometimes it's a way of hiding, but a lot of times it's genuine. It just doesn't go very deep. Does that make sense? Like, I am like talking to you guys on here. I am genuinely comfortable. I'm not sweating. I'm not nervous. My eyes not twitching. Like, I feel good and confident. But if we were to start talking about like my childhood trauma, all of a sudden I would become very insecure and very quiet and very stressed and probably cry. I think there's just different parts of ourselves, So like, it's okay for part of me to be confident and part of me to be very not confident, you know? It's emotionally draining and exhausting having to explain, justify my life, or feel judged when I ask for help. Makes me want to isolate even more. Okay, Nancy, yes, I understand this. Yes. Okay, so basically, when people ask how they can help, you want to accept their help, but like you don't know, you have to like explain and justify yourself, and that feels exhausting. Have you ever considered putting together a like slideshow or a binder or something like that that articulates your needs, your situation? That way, when someone says, oh, how can I help? You can be like, here. And you don't have to explain yourself. You can just be like, here, like, this is what I need. This is how I need help. I actually did this in X-Tiles. I can drop my affiliate link for them in the chat. An affiliate link basically just means that if you guys decide to get the paid version of X-Tiles, which you definitely don't have to, the free version is great. But if you decide to get the paid version of X-Tiles, I make a small commission at no extra cost to you. So I made a thing in X-Tiles. Love X-Tiles. Lexi, you're one of the first people I've ever met who like also knows what X-Tiles even is. It's great, isn't it? It's like Notion if Notion were easy and intuitive. So anyway, I made a whole thing in X-Tiles for my husband for when I'm really depressed and he's like, how can I help? And in the moment, I'm too, like you said, just too exhausted to explain everything. And so I made a whole thing for like, here's how I'm feeling. Here's what I probably need. Here's how you can help. Here's how to know if I need professional help, so like stuff like that. You could create something like that potentially, Nancy. Makes complete sense to me. Yes. Hey, PowerPoint night. Yes. My friends and I had PowerPoint nights when the pandemic first started. It was really lovely, actually. Can the program help with stage fright? We can talk about it. That's a little tangential to productivity, but I see how it could be related to like self-love and self-belief and confidence and stuff. And that plays into productivity for sure. So potentially, Rose, but it's not designed to help with stage fright, if that makes sense. It's something we could potentially work on around the edges. There are different parts of us too, like the inner critic, the inner child and such. Some of those might not feel confident, so I wouldn't consider it masking. Yeah. X-Tiles is how I avoid burnout, and I have a burnout binder to help me through those times with reduced demands. That is so brilliant, Lexi. Yeah, X-Tiles is great. Love X-Tiles. I'm a huge fan. I have some sponsored videos coming up on YouTube with them, which I'm really excited for. So get ready. I think it's a lot to do with RSD. Yeah, and we can talk about rejection sensitivity and how that applies to stage fright potentially. I just don't want you thinking the program's going to be about RSD or stage fright or confidence necessarily. It really is focused on productivity, but we also deal with the emotional sides of that. So I've considered putting together so much a binder, and yes, PowerPoint night all the way. I'm in. Yeah, Alexandra, if you join the Get Shit Done program, you can get my digital ADHD and autism discovery binders. They let me grab the link. Hold on. So, let me go ahead and share my screen, present, share screen. Share. Okay. Can you guys see this real quick? Okay, it looks like you probably can, but let me know. So these binders come with self-assessments that I found online. These are free self-assessments. I'm not selling the assessments. I'm selling these binders as a whole. I'm selling easy access, like convenient access to the assessments in addition to my own intellectual property. Just throwing that out there. I am not selling free assessments. That is not cool. These assessments exist. You can go find them yourself if you would like. Part 2 is the trait tracker. So this is a blank spreadsheet plus a list of potential traits to help you get started. Part 3 is studies. These are, again, I'm not selling free studies. I'm just selling convenient, like access to studies related to autism or ADHD, depending on the binder. And then part 4 is journal prompts. So just prompts to help you better understand whether you might be ADHD or autistic. So there is that. Stop sharing. The mood swings course has helped me with this so far. Good. I love the mood swings course. Let me grab that for you guys because that does not come with the Get Shit Done program and it's so good. Like I put so much love into that course and it is because mood swings really they were my biggest struggle for the longest time. There we go. Oops, hit send before the link got attached. It really is wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad, Rose. Oh, yes, RSD. Wow, that one is so annoying. Agreed. It's the worst. I vividly remember one day in grad school, I walked into a poetry class. I was in a bad mood. I knew I was in a bad mood, but I walked in and these 2 women were like giggling quietly. And I was like, oh, they're laughing at me. And like, I knew that they almost definitely weren't, but I like could not shake it. I just felt so rejected the entire class. I was so quiet and felt so stupid. And I was like, they're all just laughing at me. Everybody thinks I'm dumb and like shouldn't be here. I don't deserve to be in grad school, blah, 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 all the stuff that rejection sensitive dysphoria lies to us about. Right. And so like, I totally get that. Mood swings course. Now I have a decision between the two. You could get both. The mood swings course is only $67. It's very, very affordable. But I highly recommend the Get Shit Done program if productivity is your focus. If your focus is really mood swings and stuff, maybe the mood swings course. And then you could also get on the wait list for one-on-one. Let's see if I can find this. I can't find it. Give me just a second. All of my links are hiding. There we go. Waitlist. So if you want one-on-one coaching with me, that's an option. It's $2,000 total, but you can divide it by 3 or 6 months of payments. There we go. The giggling and whispering. I know it's terrible. It's so frustrating. But anyway, if you want one-on-one coaching with me, I do 12-week packages. We meet for 1 hour every week for 12 weeks. It's $2,000 total, or you can divide that by 3 payments, 1 per month for 3 months, or 6 payments, 1 per month for 6 months. You'll notice if you do the math that 12 weeks is shorter than 6 months, so you will be paying even after we're done coaching, but I just find that the 6 months is more accessible for some people. So those are full right now, but they'll probably open back up in May or June. So you can hop on the wait list if that interests you as well. The morning anxiety one was really helpful. I went on a binge, couldn't help myself, but I did learn to give myself breaks, unlike in the past. Oh, good, Rose. That's great. Yeah, the morning and how to anxiety proof your morning routine, I think is what the course is called. And that's one of the first courses I ever made, and it's really freaking good. Like, I put so much time and effort into that course, and I just think it's really robust. It's like $25. It's super, let me find it. Hold on. But basically, if you're like, I need a morning routine that works for me, we can totally go over that in the oh, I don't have like a fancy sales page for this. It's just a checkout page. But anyway, we can go over morning routines in the Get Shit Done program, because I do feel like those are related. Morning routine course. There we go. I do feel like productivity and morning routines are related, so we can definitely go over that in the Get Shit Done program. But if you want like a course specifically about morning routines, I recommend mine, obviously. While being bullied, it was even worse because sometimes people were actually giggling and whispering about me. Oh, Alexandra, I'm so sorry. What a nightmare. That literally sounds awful. I'm really fortunate in that I don't think people ever really were giggling and laughing at me. Although they might have been. That's a fun thing about being autistic. Like, we often don't realize we're being teased or bullied because we think like we just miss the social cue that we're supposed to feel ashamed. So yeah, I guess I don't know for sure, but I don't think people have ever really been genuinely laughing at me for the most part. For the most part. There's definitely been a couple times here and there. But yeah, that's why I was asking for afternoon and evening routines, since the morning one was so helpful. Yeah, I need to see if I have this on my computer somewhere still. I had like an evening or nighttime routine thing. So at some point, it was like a bonus for the morning routine course, but I don't, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I have to see if I can find it. Okay. Well, what else do you guys want to know? Do you guys have any other questions about the Get Shit Done program? The doors do close at midnight, March 30th, right? So 11:59, March 30th. That's Sunday, this upcoming Sunday. Yeah, there was something for evening planning for the morning. Okay, good. Good. That's what I was looking for. But this upcoming Sunday is the last day to join, because our first call is on Monday, March 31st. So if you want to attend that call, if you want to join the program, you do have to decide by 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in the Eastern time zone. Midnight is the cutoff. At midnight, I'll be putting up a wait list so that people can get on the wait list for next time I run it. And it's also worth noting, I will not be running this program again until September at the earliest, possibly later, because my book is coming out in September. So I'll probably be launching, potentially, hopefully doing some kind of book tour. So it might even be later than September. So if you are wanting to join soon, then now is probably the time. And this is not me trying to like pressure you or like create FOMO or whatever. I just don't have the capacity to run 2 versions of this program concurrently, like at the same time. So I can only run, and it's a 6-month program. So the next time I launch it will be 6 months from now. So if you want to join, now's the time. Doors are going to close. So we don't need any social media accounts. No. absolutely not required. If you were in my business coaching program, I might question your decision to not be on social media. It's fine if you're not, but even as an entrepreneur, there are other ways. But for this program, there's no reason to be on socials. The only thing is Discord is where we hang out as like a community. So as long as you're okay with Discord, you can use it on your computer. If you don't want it on your phone, that's totally fine. The desktop app works just fine. So yeah. I'm trying to do the donation Gaza thing while listening, but I'm not doing it well. I totally get it. Sometimes I can multitask like a pro, and sometimes like nah. Okay. What other questions do we have? What else do we want to chat about? Do you guys have questions about productivity, about ADHD? Do you want to hear about my book? What else should we chat about? I need input from the community. I am going to drop the Get Shit Done link in the chat one more time. That way you guys can check it out. You can come join us. It's just the neurocuriosityclub.com/GSD. Get shit done. Do tell about the book. Okay. Oh, okay. Book. I see it. Okay. Let's see. This is so funny. This is actually part of what got me diagnosed with ADHD. Let's tell the whole story. So a couple of years ago now, probably I think 2022. Was it 2022? My goodness. Okay, so a while ago, I was doing a launch for my business, meaning I was trying to sell something specific. And it went really poorly. Like nobody bought. Like I think literally nobody bought. It was really stressful, which is hard because I'm an entrepreneur. I need people to buy things so I can like pay bills and buy groceries and stuff. Granted, my husband has a 9-to-5 job. It's very stable, but at the time it supported us most of the way, but I needed to make something to cover the gap. And so anyway, it was very stressful. And I was really sad that I made no money off of this launch. And it felt like nobody believed I could help them. And I just was feeling really crappy. And I was like, you know what will distract me? I should write a book. So instead of writing the book, though, I was like, I should send proposals out to publishers like right now. And so I sent a bunch of proposals out to a bunch of publishers. And then I kind of started writing the book and working on it. And then a developmental editor saw my YouTube channel and was like, hey, do you want me to take a look? Because I mentioned that I was trying to write a book in one of my YouTube videos. And the developmental editor was like, oh, I'll look over your book proposal for you if you want, and I can give you my feedback. And I was like, for free? Like, yeah, yes. This person was so kind, like truly so kind. And they really helped me. They were like, I think this is a little too vague. I think this needs to be more specific, blah, blah, blah. And it totally reshaped the book, just working with this person like for half an hour. It was amazing. And so originally the book was going to be about I'm not a broken neurotypical. It was going to be about neurodiversity, neurodivergence in general, but she really encouraged me to narrow it down to ADHD specifically. And now the working title, I don't know if this is going to be the final title or not. I need to talk to the editors and stuff at my publishing house, but the working title is I'm ADHD, now what? Which I kind of like, to be honest. I hope it stays, but I'm open to whatever. So I started working on the book, and with the developmental editor's comments in mind, none of the publishing houses were responding. It had been like a year at this point, so I like wasn't that worried about it. I was like, oh, whatever. It was just a whim. And then this one publisher reached back out and said, oh my goodness, we're so sorry we missed this. We would love to publish this. Like, is it still available? Has anybody else bought this from you yet? And I was like, not yet. Like, thanks. It was a huge ego boost, right? And yeah, so I started working with them. It's Jessica Kingsley Publishers, which I've heard like mixed reviews on, but they've been really great for me. So I'm very grateful to be working with them. They've been wonderful, very patient, as my overwhelm has sometimes taken a lot of time to get my edits back to them. They've been very patient with me, but also very helpful. And yeah, it's been great working with them, to be honest. So Let's see. So the book is I'm ADHD Now What? It's literally about what it's like to be both autistic and ADHD, because there's a lot of books for autism and there's a lot of books for ADHD, and there's practically none for when you're both. And when you're both, it's totally different than when you're just one or the other. And so that's what the book is about. It comes out in September of this year. I don't have a pre-order link, but I do have a waitlist link. So if you want to be on the waitlist, if you want to be amongst the first people to know when it gets published, there is the link there in the chat. It's just theneurocuriosityclub.com/book-waitlist. Excuse me. So it comes out in September. I don't even know what next steps are really. I'm just waiting to hear back from my editor and stuff like that. So I might email her later today and just be like, hey, like, is there anything you need me to be doing? I know I took a hot minute on the latest edits, but like, sorry, I want to stay on top of things if I can. So I'm very excited. Writing this book was a huge labor of love. Like, I spent every single weekend in coffee shops just writing furiously and editing furiously. And like, I wrote this huge section that my editor was so kind. He was like, I really love this. Your writing is beautiful and this experience is so important, but like, I don't know that it's for this book. And I was like, you're definitely right. But like, he was so kind about it, which was great. And yeah, so the publisher has been amazing. I really love Jessica Kingsley. They published a lot of really great neurodivergent books, including We're All Neurodiverse by Sunny Jane Wise, which I love that book. It'll change your life. That book will change your life. I hope my book changes your life too, but I don't know how to say that without sounding like an arrogant asshat. So hopefully it does though. But yeah, that's the book. Comes out in September. I'm hoping to organize some kind of book tour. I really don't know how any of this is going to work. I need to run it by my publisher and stuff, so I need to talk to them. But there's a really big book community in Indianapolis. That's where John Green lives. And so there's like not that there's a lot of authors there because of him, but like I just know there's a decent amount of authors and stuff there and a lot of book interest. So I'd love to, and I'm close-ish to Indianapolis, so it would be nice to go there, maybe go a couple other major cities around me, and just do some signings, some meet and greets, stuff like that. So if you guys want to meet me and you're in the Midwest, that would be cool. So yeah, I am so grateful that I got this chance to write this book. I've wanted to be an author since I was like 6. And the idea that I literally wrote a book is crazy to me. Like, I still don't really believe it. I still don't really believe it. Like, no, that's not real. Like, every now and again, I'm like, your book, you could make like money off of this book. And there's a huge swing in like how much authors make from their books, anywhere from like $5,000 total to like $5 million. Like, and my book will probably fall somewhere in the middle. But like, I don't know. It's just crazy that I could get paid for my writing. Like, that feels really good and very exciting because I love to write. I haven't done a lot of fun writing because I was busy writing the book for like a year. Granted, a lot of that time was spent not writing, to be fair. I wrote most of my book in the span of like 2 or 3 months because I just kept putting it off. But you know, ADHD. That's the nice thing about this publisher. They publish a lot of books about autism, ADHD, neurodivergence. They're used to working with neurodivergent authors, and they tend to be, at least in my case, very supportive. So that's been really nice. All right, we got about 10 minutes left. What are your last minute questions about the book, about Get Shit Done, about working with me, about productivity? Hit me with all of your rapid fire questions. I'll answer as many as I can in the next 10 minutes. Do I have something at 1? I need to know. I never know what my schedule looks like. Okay. There we go. I wanted to be an author since I was very little too, since before I could even read. Yeah. For me, it hasn't come true, sadly, but it might though. That's the thing. Have you pitched a book proposal? Like, it literally, I just did it one evening on a whim. Like, anybody can do this. I am not like, I am not special. I think everybody is special in their own way, but like I'm not some huge exception. I think it helped that I had a big platform, like a big social media platform. That makes a big difference in getting book deals nowadays, I think. But I don't think it's the only factor. I think it also helps to just have something fun and interesting to say, which I think everybody has something fun and interesting to say, right? Or maybe not always fun. Sometimes books are not fun, but that doesn't mean they're not great. But yeah, I think you could do it. How can you say the name of the publishing house again? Yes. Let me find their website. Hold on. It's Jessica Kingsley Publishers. And this is the US version, but I think they're a UK publisher. There we go. And I like them a lot. They've been very kind to me. Yeah. So any other questions before we go? If not, I can wrap things up early. That's totally fine with me. Maybe no, I haven't. Maybe I should though. Maybe you should though. Like maybe you should. Who cares? Like why not? And if you tweak how the book's going to look, send out another proposal later. It's all good. My thoughts don't come together in a way that's readable enough, I've been told. I guess I word things in odd ways, but I'm blind to it. I wonder if you would make a good poet, Lexi. I love poetry. I got my master's in poetry and it was lovely. I mean, it was awful, but also amazing. Grad school is very strange. But maybe you would make a great poet. You should try some poems. Poets love stuff that's written a little out of sync with the rest of the world, you know? I feel like I was always meant to do something musical or theater related, but now I think it's ADHD that has held me back. I never knew where I fit. That's a goal I'd like to work on. Ooh, Rose, you need to find like a community theater or a community choir and like join those. I have a link open on my tabs for a community choir in the city I live in that I've like been thinking about joining with, but I really need to either do it or not because they started a couple weeks ago. So I think they would still take me, but if I'm going to join, I need to join because I'm quickly falling behind. Or I might just wait till the next time they run it because they do like, they do a concert every couple of months and then they run like the choir to go with that concert. So I have a consistent structure with my poetry. I love poetry. Oh, Lexi, yay, a fellow poet. Hello. I love that. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, Alexandra, of course. I always want to encourage everybody to chase their dreams. Like, I just didn't feel, do you know, like growing up, I was always told you can do anything you set your mind to. But then I would bring stuff up and they'd be like, oh, but not that. Oh, but not that. Oh, but not that. You can do anything you set your mind to as long as it's like practical. And I was like, wait, what? And now it feels really crazy to say, but like so many of my dreams are coming true. Which is so weird. Like, it's so weird and so great. Like, I'm emotional thinking about it. Like, I have a freaking book and it's going to come out and people are going to read it and hopefully like it. And like, and I'm a coach. I'm a life coach. I get to like help people in their daily lives using my lived experience as like my lived experience matters. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Oh, Alexandra writes poetry too. Yes. I love it. Poetry is a little harder to get published, I think, but there's lots of like prize contests. You just have to get on the mailing list and they'll tell you when the contest is running and you can get your book published that way. There's lots of like debut poetry book contests and stuff, so you could do it that way. I was in the state choir before COVID. Then I got pregnant and had my baby. I haven't felt the passion for that since I stopped. I don't want to audition again 5 years later. Yeah, the audition process can be hard. There might be a local choir, like maybe not the state choir, but like a local one that doesn't require auditions. And that way you could just join and sing and have fun, you know? I feel like the GSD program will be a launching point for me. I really want my degree, but have to figure out some challenges to set myself up for success. Yes. I totally get that. Getting school is hard. And it just gets harder as we get older and get further away from it, to be honest. And like, I watched my mom go back for her bachelor's because she got her associates when she first graduated, because that was all you needed at the time. And then they were like, no, you need to have your bachelor's now. So she had to go back. And she was doing that while raising 4 kids, all like 17 and younger. So we were all at home. We were all in her face. Oh, and she was working night shift part-time. Like, I honestly don't know how she did it. And she got like a 3.9 GPO, 4.0. Like, it was crazy. I like, words cannot describe. I don't think I told her how proud I was back then, because it felt weird as like a 17-year-old to be like, I'm proud of my mom, but like, so proud, like kick ass, right? Lexi, we might be long lost twins. With so much you said, I was like, yes, exactly. Yeah. So many of my dreams are coming true, and it's weird. It's the most neurodivergent thing to say, and it's so real. Yeah. Yeah. It's very strange. 7 years later, time misperception. Yes, Rose. I totally get that. I can't perceive time accurately at all. It's a timey-wimey, swirly stuff. I feel like I say it's been 5 years for everything. Oh yeah, that's what I'm like. Oh yeah, 2017, 5 years ago. No, Megan, 5 years ago was 2020. Like, come on. Anyway. All right. Any last minute questions? Last minute questions. Going once, going twice. Twins. I knew I had one. I always wanted to be a twin, which is why I was so thrilled when I got pregnant with twins. I was like, they're going to have buddies. They're going to be each other's buddies. It's going to be great. We'll see. The one is definitely kind of aggressive toward the other twin. So we're working on, first of all, the other twin being able to stand up for herself. They're only like 1.5, and then trying to tell the aggressive twin to like chill out. Your mom is a superhero. Honestly, she is. She's a superhero. 100% craziness. Thanks for another great stream. Of course. Thank you all so much for being here. It's always so lovely to chat with you guys. I love these streams. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to stream. I want to take a nap. And then I get on the stream and I'm just like, wait, no, this is great. Oh my gosh. I always forget I'm an extrovert. And like, if I need a boost in energy, yeah, a nap could help, but also talking to people could also give me a boost of energy because I'm an extrovert. So yeah, of course, Rose. Thank you so much for being here. All right, y'all. Well, I am going to hop off, and I hope to see you all in the Get Shit Done program. And yeah, I guess that's it. Okay. Bye, guys.